Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Podcast Assemble, the show where you come for your rambling geeky download. My name's Tom, and I'm delighted to say Happy New Year and be joined by my friend and co-host from across the pond. It's our resident Aqua baby of the pod, DL. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man.
It's been so long.
Welcome back.
It's been so long.
I'm just happy to see you.
Oh, I mean, ditto.
Yeah.
In the flesh.
Yeah. New year, new me.
And you're a bit like me. You're a really bad texter. So, like, over Christmas and New Year's, there was no text.
It was vague, very, very rare.
Zero texting.
There was a couple. I forget what it was about, but it was nothing insightful.
Probably nonsense.
Nothing.
Mostly just memes. Let's be quite frank.
If even that.
Happy New Year, buddy. How was your Christmas and New Year's?
Dude, it was the best. Yeah, you can't complain. Ate a lot of food.
Yes.
You know, lots of Christmas stuff, lots of French Christmas meals.
France.
Yeah,
France.
We had a bunch of French gatherings with
Beautiful.
The squad. Then, got a lot of beach time in. The weather was pretty killer over here. Not to make you feel crappy.
Yes, I had the polar opposite of that.
The entire silly season, the best part of Sydney.
Yes, I had
Sydney
the polar
summer.
opposite of that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If you want the flip side of that, with a really long trip in the middle to get there and be sick for 2 of those 3 weeks while you're in the UK being cold and dark, go to the UK. It's wonderful.
Sounds like a winning combination.
This time of year is bloody cold. I can't complain. Had a wonderful time with my niece and nephew. Spending time with those guys. Obviously living over here, it's difficult to get that. But it was really nice doing that, except for the 2 weeks of COVID/norovirus, which, we don't get that over here, I don't think. But
I've never even heard of it.
Not fun.
I mean, I can't imagine doing that much travel to just be sick for 2 weeks. That sucks, dude.
But it really sucks. It really sucks. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I did.
Ooh, what is it?
I will not buy vapes, which I haven't. So
well done.
I'm off the vapes for now.
Saving your lungs.
Yeah, doing them. I think it's more brain. I think the vape is gonna.
Oh well, I definitely shouldn't be on the vape set.
People are gonna stroke out. Like,
I'm only here for the comedy value. I don't actually bring anything to this podcast. So if I had the vapes as well,
I think my lungs feel fine. I can go work out after the vape. It's more
okay.
Oh, this is probably not good for like the brain. Metal
your brain capacity
leaking into your brain. Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, you've got a high brain capacity. So
yeah, I mean, like, still.
Why have I been so nice to you? Who am I?
I don't. He literally did miss me. Other than calling me Baby Aquaman, which I'm not sure where that came from.
Aqua Baby. It's from the comics.
Aqua Baby.
There was an Aqua Baby in this film. There certainly was.
There was an Aqua Baby in this film.
There was. He had a baby in it.
That's true.
So what's funny about this film is I went in with
nothing's memorable. That's why I forgot.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
I went in with absolutely zero expectations, and I actually went in with friend of the show Andy, who wishes to be remembered by the pod, who is part of the reason for our famous rating system, Aquaman 2018, better or worse. I went to see the original with him, and it was like I was going home at Christmas, and I was going to be in London around New Year's, and I was like, is this going to line up? Are the stars going to align? And it turned out we went together. And the funniest part of it was they had these, I'm going to show you, it's in the kitchen, it's in the other room, but they had these like, cinemas used to do like cups you could buy for movies and stuff.
Like memorabilia
Yeah,
cups.
Precisely. Yeah. They had the Aquaman ones.
Oh, God.
And Andy thought we got them with our tickets. So he was at the thing, like buying candy and whatever.
That's the way it used to be.
Yeah. And he said to them like, can I get our mugs, our cups, whatever they are? And they went, oh no, you have to pay £5 for them.
That's where we are.
He turned around to me and looked at me, and I was literally like, you should be paying us to take these. Like, they are not good.
That is like, consumerism now. Nickel and dimed.
Too right.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. They got to make money somehow.
I mean,
it's not to be fair, 7 people were in the theater today.
And that was gold class.
And it was gold class.
Because you got screwed.
Yeah. Let's not get it.
Can you tell me about your cinema experience for seeing Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom?
Yeah. So, yes, I had an interesting cinema experience today.
Oh, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happiest of birthdays to you.
33, the big 33.
Woo, give a round of applause. That's as much as you get. That's it.
That's all I needed, really. A year older, I did a lot of work to do it. Actually, I did my best not to. If you think about the amount
you tried not to get older.
So the experience I had was I bought my birthday ticket.
Yes,
like at cinema, like Event Cinema, they have the Cinebuzz account, and it was like $10, and I was like, "This is awesome." Bought it for the wrong day, yeah. So like, got to the theater, it was like, it's not scanning, it's not working. Realized I bought it for the wrong day.
Oh no!
But Event Cinema is like the staff are like 10-year-olds, and all they're doing is gossiping in the corner.
Yeah, totally.
So I just walked by. I was like, whatever. And I like just walked by because I was like, I bought a ticket, even if it was the wrong day. I don't feel guilty about this.
Okay.
No one sat in my seat.
Yeah.
So I walked through. go look, like try and find which theater has Aquaman. Then I realized it's not playing today at this time. It's playing at 12.
Oh dear.
Or whatever. So then I had like stuff to do. So I left, came back to try and catch like the 4:31 and missed it long enough that they were like, the only one left you can watch is the gold class. So I ended up spending like $60 to see this fucking terrible movie.
So in total, you spent $70 on Aquaman.
60 total.
No, plus the $10 for
No,
the original ticket.
it was 48 before, plus there's 10 plus the 48. So it's about 60.
Brutal.
But I got like, 2 scenes of Willy Wonka before I was like, I don't really want to see this movie. But it was, dude, to be honest, it wasn't bad. It was just like, I just have there's better things to do.
Oh, we had correspondence from friends of the show.
It wasn't bad.
Joe, who said that Wonka is actually the family show for the Christmas period.
It actually was pretty good what I saw. The songs were pretty good. He was a good actor. But it was like, if I'm going to have to also sit through Aquaman again in 4 hours. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Too many things.
Yeah.
So you spent way more money than you wanted to watch this film, which you didn't really want to see.
Yes.
And I wasn't there to make it to make fun of it at the same time.
Single-handedly, yeah.
I feel like I thought I was going to make fun of this film significantly more while I was in the cinema, but it was a bit bland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you make fun of it? It's just like Momoa ad-libbing the entire time.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Guys, look, there will be time codes in the description, as always supplied by friend of the show and editing master, Mr. Matthew Bliss of Blissery.fm. Stick around, we'll give you his details at the end of the show, but if you want to jump around, time codes are there. Time codes are there for you guys. DL, quick question for you before we get into this. On a scale of 1 to 5, how likely are you, A, to stick to your New Year's resolution?
I won't buy a vape. I may have weak points where
that is a loophole. I love it.
A loophole.
But also, how many stars do you believe our lovely listeners should give us?
5 vapes.
On their podcast platform of choice.
Yeah, 5 vapes.
5 vapes.
5 stars.
5 stars, baby. If you could, that'd be really wonderful. It does all things for algorithms. We appreciate you when you do, even if it's just for the idiocy of us chatting shit before the show. What have you been up to, DL? What's been happening?
So much. I've got to narrow it down.
We're only going to do 3 because it's been a long time.
Well, to be fair, I'm going to try and keep it to 3.
I'm just going to give you the things I watched on the airplane.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know you watched that fucking terrible movie.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about You go first.
I'll
give me
first.
one first.
I'll give you my first and favorite.
Okay, which is obviously the books.
Golden Sun.
Oh,
it is a top 5 book.
Didn't you finish this third one as well?
I did.
Okay, all right.
But you've been gone for 3 weeks. You've been gone for 3 weeks. No, we're saving the next one for when you've read it. Okay. Golden Sun, dude.
I tried really hard to get into that book.
So good.
Sorry, very quickly. I tried really hard to get into that book.
The one that you were reading.
That I have been reading. And it is so dull. I'm just like, I just don't. Even friend of the show, Mr. Matthew Bliss, messaged me and said, I can't remember the name of it.
Isn't it famous?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah,
because that guy, Book Reviews Kills, has reviewed it. Orange
Throne
or
of
something.
Glass or something. It's called. Oh man, it's so dull. It's like kind of young adulty. It's written from the main character, who's a female's perspective, and it's a bit like she's either really horny or just a bit awkward. I can't quite get my head into it.
Sometimes those happen in combination.
Yeah, it's not good though.
No, it's not. That's all.
But you tell me about Golden Sun. That's what we're talking about here.
What do you mean?
That's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about here.
Dude, it is so good.
Okay.
It is so good.
Did it improve on the first one?
Yes, 100%.
In what ways? Give me more context.
World expands. You know what I've realized why we thought the first one was a bit tweaky?
Please.
How it moves all fast. Like, it does move fast. It skips over things. I actually realized there's a couple parts where it's like unbelievable. Like, how does he just learn all the culture in 2 months?
Yeah.
Should have been like 3 years.
Yeah.
Or something. You know what I mean? Like,
he had the Matrix brain
There should have been more buildup of like the lore through that. Okay. Even if it was like 2 more chapters. Point being though, it's because it's in the first person present tense.
Yes.
That's weird. Not a lot of books are where the narrator is narrating as if it's happening now, like he's telling the story, while also it's written presently. Like it's a very weird tense and perspective combination. So that I think that's part of the weirdness. But the point I'm trying to make is it's still that way, but the writing's a bit less choppy. He still does jump a lot.
Okay.
But it's like such high octane stuff the whole time that you don't mind.
Okay.
You're just like, you got to keep up with the plot.
You're so into this. I love your energy for this.
Read this book. Like, one of the coolest parts that I thought I really wanted as a part of, do you remember they talked about this guy named like Lorne Arcos or something?
Probably.
Anyway, there's like, it's like the badass of this world.
Okay.
They build him up. It's like not even a top 5 moment when you finally meet him.
Oh, really?
But it's still awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
There's so many high points of this book.
Excellent.
Top
I can't
5
wait
book
to
for
read
me.
it. You've got my copy, I think.
I have your copy, top 5.
Excellent.
I've also got the next one for you, and the next one, and the one after that.
Jesus.
Should you want to read
That's a lot of books.
Yeah.
I'll probably read the original trilogy and see how I feel.
You will want to read it.
Have you read notes in it? I know you like to make notes in books.
Not in these ones.
I wish you had it fun. I like when your little notes in there.
I think
you'll be like, good writing. I'm like, cool. Thanks, DL.
No, I didn't on this one because it's like moves so fast. I didn't have time to think about notes.
So, you read it so fast. So you highly recommend this book series?
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Excellent.
If you like sci-fi, if you like thriller, if you like any of the fantasy, it mixes fantasy and sci-fi so well.
Now, for you, have 3 things which I've watched on the flight there and back.
Okay.
And you can tell me. So, like, you started on a real high. Now, do you want me to start at the worst or the best?
Your choice, buddy.
No,
I kind of want to hear.
I'm asking you.
If it's Rebel Moon is the worst, I want to hear about it.
That's in the middle.
Okay, well then I guess the middle. Well, I'm curious because I want to see if I watched it or not.
You want me to talk about Rebel Moon?
Yeah, I want to know.
Okay. It's dull. It's really fucking dull.
Can't do another dull movie today.
It's 2 hours of setting up the next movie. That's all it is. And it is just like painful.
But they set it up well? Or is it just like literally boring characters?
It is shot for shot in some cases. Scenes from other better movies that you have seen.
So it's exactly what we thought.
Yes, it literally is. There's the Star Wars. There's the cantina scene from Star Wars, just in this film. There is the majority of it is like the Seven Samurai, like the original what was stolen to make Star Wars in the first place.
Yeah.
It is literally that with probably the same amount of characters. It has the Griffin scene from Harry Potter. It literally just takes scenes from other movies and he slows them down. It's like, Zach, baby.
See, you're a thief.
The thing that upsets me is, and this has been said way more eloquently by other people, but this was, so like every other Zack Snyder joint, you could be a bit like, the studio interfered with that, like there's a reason why this isn't as good as it could be. So like we're talking Justice League.
He always has excuses.
There's always a reason that the fans can be like, well, it's not really Zack Snyder's full vision.
Yeah.
This was him getting as much money as he wanted, quotation marks, and being able to make a thing. And if this is the best he can do, holy shit, he's not a good director. He is just
a nerd.
Bang average.
He's a nerd who likes nerdy things, who just steals them. I am not a fan of Zack Snyder. Can I finally just say it?
You say what you want.
Yeah, I just don't like him. He's not good. He's not that good.
I liked 300. That was a great
300
film.
was like super original, novel in its like artistic style.
Yes. Like years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever evolved from that. He picked like the 3 things that he thought worked, like the blood splatters and the slow-mo and,
also,
the odd
it's like an iconic
speech.
Ancient story.
Yeah.
It's not even his story.
No. He's good at, and that's what my problem is, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like he's had an opportunity to make his own thing and it's just not good.
Well, wasn't it originally a Star Wars pitch? I think at that point,
maybe.
At that point, you got to just change it a bit because from what I've seen from the synopsis,
yeah,
it looks like it's just
I
like
think
an empire and rebels.
Oh, it's literally just Hitler. Yeah. It's literally just the Nazis.
Yeah,
honestly, and it's actually got in the same scene the 2 same Dario Naharises from Game of Thrones in the same scene sometimes.
That's pretty cool.
Which makes me laugh. It's great.
I like the old Dario or the new Dario.
Oh, I like the old one.
The new Dario is the man.
I like the original one.
No, the new.
He's got weird teeth, but I like him.
No, but the new Dario's in that Haunting of Hill House and has like a great performance.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I like him as an actor.
I actually didn't realize who it was until someone else said it, and I was like, "Oh my god, it is." It's Dario Naharis times 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna withhold judgment on this because the second part is where here
you are making an excuse for him.
No. This was shit.
Yeah, but
this was
like,
terrible.
We can't judge it until we see the whole thing.
Judge your way.
It's the premier movie of a trilogy. It has to get you. Otherwise, you don't get the other.
But
what? Even so.
It didn't get me at all. It was nonsense, stole too much, didn't have an identity. I was like, bro, it's exactly what we said like a year ago. And funnily enough, I think it might, I don't think it would have made things we were most excited for the year for last year, or even been in the conversation. I don't think it had been announced. But we shall be doing that for our next episode. We wanted to squeeze this in first because this technically came out last year, but that will be coming soon. What else have you been up to, buddy?
What else have I been up to? I recently watched...
Zack Snyder sucks, man. Fuck him. Screw him.
I'm not a fan. I recently watched, and this was actually last night, so it's fresh in my mind.
Oh, nice.
The Vast of Night, which is an Amazon original.
Sounds like a vampire thing.
It's not. It's kind of like it's a really weird movie. It's almost like a Twilight episode or Twilight Zone episode, but like a movie. and it's like set in like the 50s. And it's about this. It's really framed really weird. It's like this kid who loves like her voice recorder, and this guy who's like like she's like in high school, and this guy that is basically like a radio host in high school. And they're obviously have like, she kind of obviously crushes on him. He's like 4 years older than her. They both are like obsessed with like recording and broadcasting. That's what they want to do, but they're in this small us. Yeah, kind of, but like in the 50s.
And you're obsessed with me like she is with him.
Yeah, exactly. 30s or 40s, whatever it was. Very Hobunk town in middle America. And they basically, everybody's at this big basketball game. The whole movie takes place over the course of like a 2-hour period of the basketball game.
Okay.
And they hear something on the radio, like something interferes with their radio programming, and it's a supernatural movie. I'll leave it at that.
It's vampires.
It's not vampires.
Ah, damn. That sucks. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a...
Is it good?
Like, it was super unique. I enjoyed it.
That doesn't mean good.
I enjoyed it. It was a bit boring. Not boring. It's just not a lot happens.
Okay.
Literally 80% of the movie, they're just talking to each other on the radio.
I got a thing I'm going to talk to you about next week.
Does that make sense? But the dialogue was really good, and the acting was really good, but it's just a bit... it's not going to be for everyone.
Okay.
It's kind of like a
very
indie film, I would say.
I love an indie film, but I feel like it's got to have something to get your teeth into.
Well, it does. It happens very quickly. Well, not very quickly. After like 40 minutes.
Maybe a sex tape. Bringing it back.
It is, it's like 40 minutes in is like the proper inciting incident. They build the characters and the world for like 40 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. I'm good. Because I mean, like, there's a lot of films that don't do that, like Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon.
I'd rather
introduce a character and then just forget about them.
Yeah, which is super stripped down, 2 or 3 characters max. Not a lot happening on screen. Literally just a film of me podcasting right now, but
that'd be boring.
More substance than all the spectacle.
Together?
All the spectacle of Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Too much.
What about
too much slow motion.
Give me your
so you'd
second.
recommend?
I would recommend. It's on the yay or nay scale. It's a yay.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's better than Aquaman 2018.
Yes.
My second one is what I would have said was the worst of my trilogy. But you know what? It was big, dumb, and I had no idea why I watched it. This is what we've talked about this a million times. Plane movies. There are movies you do not watch in real life. They just happen when you are on a plane because you are stuck in that situation. And the actual choices on the plane sucked. There were really bad choices. I was like, never flying Etihad again. It's terrible. First world problems. But I saw that the Meg 2 was on there. I haven't even seen the Meg 1.
You cannot.
This is how bad the choices were.
The Meg 2.
This is how bad the choices were. Genuinely, they were so bad.
The Meg 2 underground or something, isn't it? Deep sea Meg.
There was another Meg.
But it was like...
Oh, was it the Meg 1?
But they had like technology to go down to the bottom.
It was one of the Megs. Yeah. And I watched it, and it was, like, it was exactly what you expect it to be. Like, that's all I need to say. Genuinely, Jason Statham, a big fucking shark. What more do you want to know?
Not much.
There was like it was like a weird semi-love triangle where his ex-wife was trapped in a submarine at the bottom of the ocean, and then he was kind of falling for this random chick who had a kid, and I was like, but then he was still kind of flirting with his ex at the same time. I'm like, pick a lane. Pick a lane. That's Jason
definitely
Statham.
What the Meg needs is a love triangle.
Exactly. Yeah. And a child who is literally just like telling you everything that's happening.
Goodness gracious.
It was a bit... Yeah, it was nonsense.
So you wouldn't recommend?
Absolutely not.
Not recommend.
Not to you, not to you listening, not to anyone. Like, if you just want to switch your brain off, which I did, I was stuck in a tube for 12 or 13 hours.
I think I'd rather just like sleep.
I couldn't though. There are times on a plane where like, if I stay awake for this part of it, I can sort of get my body clock right for the next leg.
Yeah.
It was that.
So you watched the most boring movie ever to stay awake.
There was the live channel and there was basketball on, but it was like frozen. And I was like, I just want to watch basketball. And like the next best thing, unfortunately, was the Meg.
That can't be true, but I'm not going to audit you.
There were other movies I could have watched, but I've seen a lot of them recently, like the Harry Potter movies. They had The Dark Knight, which I've seen for this podcast very recently.
Fair enough.
And I was like, if they just had a bit of, there was no Disney stuff on there. So it was like, oh, what is actually here?
Yeah.
I could have watched like a Bollywood movie.
That might have been better.
I don't know any of them though. I'd like to know what I'm watching.
Well, it's like, if I'm going to watch a Bollywood movie, I want it to be like the best Bollywood movie.
Yes. Yeah,
you know, the one that's like, this is the Bollywood, not just some random Bollywood movie.
But then that could be really funny because there's some funny bits in Bollywood movies.
Maybe.
Like some...
I'm telling you, if it was between the Meg and a Bollywood movie, I would pick the Bollywood movie.
Fair point. Third one, what's your third final one?
I'm going to sneak, it's a sneaker. I'm sneaking 2.
Sneaky.
It's 2 comedy specials. Ricky Gervais, he released a new one. I think it's called Armageddon.
I've heard good things about that.
And then Dave Chappelle's new one, which I forget what it's called. but they both kind of released at the
Dave
same
Chappelle
time.
one. Talk about this because
I liked them both.
There is a lot of chatter on him on the internet about being a bit done. Yeah.
That's just like so wrong.
As in, he's not really progressing his comedy anymore. Like, he's just static.
I just think that I'm curious who's writing that.
I've read it in a few places.
Because a lot of the media hates him, the liberal media, because of all the trans stuff.
It's a lot of trans stuff.
I think that, like, if you ask anyone that watches the special, like, they're just loving that he's still doing comedy.
I mean, I would certainly watch it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But, because he's like a goat. So.
He really is.
He's one of the best.
I would
So is Ricky Gervais, to be fair.
And Ricky Gervais, he has his problematic things as well.
I think.
The interesting about the Epstein stuff that he came out with 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was.
Golden Globes.
All true.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, he's the man. But I personally didn't like Ricky Gervais as much as Dave Chappelle's.
Okay.
And I didn't like it as, I mean, look, I enjoyed it because he's a phenomenal comedian.
Yeah.
But there were parts where it was like, oh, like you're, it's not that he's striking down, like he's hitting down like he does, and it's fine. It's more that just like, it wasn't that funny. Like certain parts.
There are bits of him that are like that.
When he goes too far, I'm like, well, I'm just like, it's not funny. It's not that I care that you're making fun of this group.
Yeah.
It's just not funny because then like you'll make fun of another group and I'm like dying.
Or when he's like making fun of himself or like really badly being like, oh, I'm a rich white man. Oh no. It's like, dude, like fucking hell, like.
There is a couple times though where he did that and I laughed, but I know what you mean.
I'd probably laugh, but more out of awkwardness than actually finding it that funny.
I do overall rate it. It's just not his best.
Okay.
And then Dave Chappelle's, I think I liked it better than the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't love his last one.
Yeah.
So I might check this out. So you recommend both?
A lot of it, but we went and saw this one.
Oh.
So like,
so it was that show.
There's a few jokes from that tour.
Right.
Like this is the special from that tour, I think. But there's stuff that he obviously didn't do as well.
Yeah, okay. So he's building up his repertoire.
That's always what they do usually.
Recommend both?
I would recommend both because they're comedy greats. I would recommend Dave Chappelle over the Armageddon.
This is going to sound real nitpicky, but like something about Ricky Gervais' face, it just annoys me at all times.
I don't know. I really like him.
I think he's funny.
Actually might be a top 5 comedian for me.
When he does his dark comedy, he's so much better. So, like, what was the show he did about his wife dying?
Oh yeah, dude.
That's when I like Ricky Gervais. When he's dry and he's witty and it's just dark and brutal. Like the bit where he's like, "You fat ginger," whatever he says to that kid. Perfect. That is Ricky Gervais to me. You know,
there's some of that in this.
Okay, good. Good.
Can I? Well, actually, no.
I'll watch it and come back to you. I'll watch it back to you when I get a chance. My final one, very quickly, then, is that I watched. Actually, I powered to this because I really enjoyed it. The new season of What If, which is the 2nd season. So, if you remember, Disney did these animated What If show.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a year or so ago now, and there were 9, and it was pretty well reviewed. Like the original series was just sort of like, what if this movie but this character, or what if this but this, and they were a bit like formulaic. This season was really fun, different. I enjoyed it way more than the first season. Had way more interesting what ifs, like different stuff happening. Bad Doctor Strange came back. Enjoyed seeing him there. They even created a brand new character for this, which I really enjoyed.
Is this canon?
No, it's all what ifs. So it's all like.
But some of it was last time, wasn't it?
Don't think so. I think some of the characters might show up. So, like, for example, Captain Carter, you saw her in the Doctor Strange movie, but that was a different version because she's still alive in this.
No, I just remember like expanded the universe to include like the Makers or something, or like
the Watcher. You mean the Watcher? Yeah, the Watcher's part of it. And some of the bits, I mean, that was kind of canon anyway because they'd already been in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Okay,
but I would highly recommend this. Honestly, like I know we've been a bit down on the MCU, and it's definitely not what it was.
Some unique thing.
This is different, and it's 30 minutes. Like you can just rock in and rock out. Like the ones like Happy Hogan Saves Christmas. It's Die Hard, but Happy Hogan, and he becomes the Incredible Hulk. Like, it's whatever. Like, I didn't care for that one that much. But I would say of the 9 episodes, 7 were, like, strong. Like, strong. And for just this type of thing where it's different, and some of the voice acting is great.
Yeah.
Like, the guy who does Tony Stark, it's not him. He's really good.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of fun. And seeing just different versions of these characters, I'm cool with it.
No, I remember liking the first one.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend. Go give it a go.
Season. All right. Sweet.
Guys, if there's anything that we haven't mentioned, hit us up. We love it when you send us stuff. We've got a couple, for example, friend of the show, Nish, this week recommended that we go and watch The Bear. I
still have to watch season 2. I'm actually excited.
I'm actually excited to. We've seen a couple of episodes of season 2.
Yeah.
We've obviously been away, so we haven't had an opportunity to. But the first season, absolutely epic.
Yeah.
Hard to get into.
Of course.
Like, it's a bit.
It's more just like you got to know what you're getting into. I'm actually really excited. I don't know why I haven't watched that yet.
No, neither.
It's like kind of just
Why
been on
haven't
my
you
list.
watched it yet?
I don't know. It's just been on my list. I started it and then never finished.
Well, anyway, hit us up, guys. You can find us at Podcast Assemble on Instagram or thepodcastassemble@gmail.com, or just go to our website, www.podcastassemble.com. Find all of our details there. We're there with places. Send us stuff. We love it when you do. We'll call you out.
We will.
We love it. So, DL, do you want to preface our main topic?
It's the main topic theme.
Yes, today we revisit the famous ranking system of Podcast Assemble with Aquaman 2022?
3? 2023? We're in 24 now.
When did it come out?
The end of last
23.
Yeah. It's 24 now.
I wasn't sure if it was 24 or 23.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, baby.
Yeah.
We finally got here. And we've joked about this multiple times. If we ever do wrap up this podcast, we will finish with Aquaman 2018 because it is necessary. It is part of our DNA. Do you have a stupid plot summary for this, DL?
I do, off the cuff. Right now you're seeing it live.
Yeah, because you literally watched this an hour
ago. Yeah, just literally watched and came. Let's see.
Watched and came. Name your sex tape. Part 2.
God, he's killing me today. Well done, dude. Well done.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm so jet lagged.
I like to watch and come. You're right. That's me. The dumb summary from me off the cuff is Jason Momoa tries stand up alongside an octopus on a goose chase for the Peace Corps. What are the climate police?
Call the Peace
for
Corps,
the woke
fine.
left.
Yeah, okay, good.
I don't know. That's
off the cuff is better
that's
than
my
your
off
normal.
the cuff. Yeah, I think we should always do that. We should just from now on make it off the cuff.
You can do what you want.
Yeah,
I'd be terrible at that. My stand up is not as good as yours, clearly. Mine is blood is thicker than water in this final swan song for the DCEU. The army of the dead from the Lord of the Rings are back, baby, as we finally get to see the real version of two brothers from Rick and Morty's interdimensional cable. Two brothers. It's an alien invasion, tomato monster, Mexican armada. How was this film?
Plus the Korean guy.
Oh, yeah, that too. I've got to say, though, I was watching this thinking, I do not remember a single thing that happened in the first movie.
Of course not.
It's like Jimmy
I do
Woo was
remember.
there.
I remember that he got dethroned because they reminded me like 20 times.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You've got to remember that.
I mean, I would have forgotten.
I mean,
I'm glad they reminded me.
Randall Park was there, and I was like, was he in the first one?
Is that the guy with the orange hair or whatever?
No,
like
that was
super
that
auburn
was the
hair?
Asian guy who's in the Marvel stuff.
Who's
Jimmy
the other
Woo.
random king? That they just threw in there with no preface, who talks kind of weird for some reason.
Random King? Are we talking about?
He has like hair, kind of like.
You talking about Dolph Lundgren? He's seriously talking about Dolph Lundgren, the guy from Rocky 3, 4, whichever one it is.
Is it? Yeah, I think it is. But his hair doesn't look like that.
No, not in the movie.
Yeah, his hair is like way different. Anyway, that's hilarious that it's Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, speaking of,
Dolph
this
Lundgren.
is from director James Wan, who's returning from the first one, who I actually really like, and it's a shame he's now stigmatized by these movies. But like you say, Jason Momoa's back. The whole cast are back. Patrick Wilson, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Amber Heard's. We're going to talk about her. Nicole Kidman, Randall Park's back, Tamara Morrison's back, Dolph's back. Mine Short's in this, the comedy legend, as Kingfish, which I find really odd. I wanted to mention as well, it's got John Rhys Davies in this, who is literally just a crab man. And
I really can't even with that guy.
It's the Lord of the Rings guy.
At the end, when they're just like doing this big press conference, and there's just a giant.
Isn't it so? Last thing I want to call out before we get into this was Pilu Absek was King Kordax, who we'll talk about in a minute. Now you will remember him as, remember the sea captain from Game of Thrones, the ones who throws his brother off the bridge.
Yeah, Theon Greyjoy's
from the Iron
uncle.
Yes, that guy. Something
pirate.
Greyjoy.
The gay pirate or whatever.
He's him.
Or like the sex pirate.
The sex pirate.
Yeah.
that's the guy literally straight from Lord of the Rings, the green.
He's that
bad
character.
Guy. That's who plays that.
Oh, really? The CGI was kind of. I didn't mind that,
dude.
On
it
that
literally looked like that. It was just that whole thing from Lord of the Rings.
Green Knight.
Now I have a quick thing for you before we get into this. Actually, do you remember our very famous? What do we call this segment thing? Goofy IMDb picture, which we have not done in quite a long time. Probably since friend of the show Reegs was here. Actually, it was. Because he actually recommended who is our current MVP, which is William Fichtner, who you'll remember Fitchner, sorry, who is the bank manager from The Dark Knight.
Okay, yeah.
And his goofy IMDb picture, if you remember, he kind of looks like he's sucking on a lemon. It's not a great IMDb picture. It's definitely a goofy one. But I'm bringing to you a challenger from this movie.
Okay.
And I want to get your opinion on this. So this is Liam Edwards, who in this just plays a Manta mercenary.
Manta mercenary.
Now look at this. Now, I just want to get your initial thought on this. Tell me, what do you think?
He's like,
now, goofy IMDb picture for anyone listening who's new to this. It's not about being mean or calling out mean things about people. It's just like, this is your one direct way to see people to find you that's online.
omnipresent.
Have the best picture possible.
I mean, it is a headshot.
Tell me your initial thought.
My initial thought. It is a headshot. It looks like a LinkedIn.
You can't tell me that he doesn't look like a bad real estate agent.
Yeah,
from,
it looks like
Slough.
it looks like a LinkedIn picture, and he's like, his collar's over his jacket. Like,
yeah.
It looks like a bad LinkedIn picture.
It's so
It's
bad.
not like the worst I've seen, but it's just kind of funny because it's like he tried to do it, but he just like failed.
It's
you know,
like he got his mum to take the picture or something. You know what I mean?
it's like he was close, but like just in a bad way.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
What do you reckon then? Do you reckon it's old mate William Fitchner or Liam Edwards taking this one?
I think William Fitchner still, because he's better than that. You know what I mean? Like,
he's better than that picture.
When you get like a proper actor who's like really fucked up their IMDb picture, I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, this guy was Manta Ray Rider 3. Like, it doesn't matter. But like, that guy's like in a lot of movies, dude.
Absolutely fair. Total love that. Let's talk about this goddamn movie. And what happened in this DL from a man fresh out of the cinema? What actually happened?
So, I mean, basically, Jason Momoa is a bad leader the entire time.
Or he's a good leader, just misunderstood.
No. He like shrinks. How do I say this word?
What word are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say like avoids. Shirks.
Sure.
He shirks responsibility at every turn for the most part.
Except his kid.
Except his kid. That's fair. He's a good dad.
I guess the main plot of this is that Black Manta's back, baby.
Yeah.
He's here and he's ready to avenge his father that he tried to do the time
I was going to say again.
Yeah, he tried this once before and failed epically. And he finds he's looking for
old Atlantean ship to
Atlantean
power
tech.
his tech that's destroyed, because that's the only way he can compete to
and
fight
he finds
Aquaman.
a mythical black trident that's actually more green than black.
It's more green than black. He finds like this ancient civilization under the ice in Antarctica. We
As you
don't really
would.
know what it is.
As you would.
Black-
What is the Lost Kingdom in this? This is my first question to you. Because I do not have a fucking clue what the
I
Lost
also
Kingdom
went and
is.
took a poo,
Did you?
and I missed a pretty key part about about what the kingdom is. But I got to the gist of it. Like, they're undead or something.
You are so good at doing this in movies. Like,
Dude, I
like
mean,
when we
come
watched,
on.
like when we watched Godzilla -1, and you just walked out when they were making the plan. You were like, "I need the bathroom."
Well, it's
You
just like, dude, I like when the plan was like bubbles. I was just like, all right, like
This one's like
I'm not
ice, I
gonna
suppose.
miss that much, and I did actually miss a key component. This
did.
time I didn't.
the second half of the plan.
This time it was like, you know, undead army, but in the water.
Something dark
Yeah.
side.
But like something tree.
I guess the thing we
undead
need to call
tree.
out as well is that it's, like I said, it's the brothers are back together. Orm needs to be brought out of prison by Aquadad to help him for some reason.
Yeah, he has a lead on where the bad guy is.
Yeah.
And he's so,
And the bad
he couldn't
guy-
have just told him he had to freak him out of some desert. That was actually one of the cooler scenes, though.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that.
It was all right.
I mean, as far as like the movie goes,
They're doing the bad guys trying to do a big global warming is the point here, right?
but eventually we get there.
A word which is absolute nonsense, orichalcum, which I can barely pronounce to start with. They're trying to get hold of this stuff to do a big global warming, and that's the main thrust of it.
Yeah, basically, our bad guy gets possessed by the trident thing, gets a bunch of ships that are apparently just fine after a millennium of just sitting in ice.
yeah.
Uses those to go steal the energy that powers them so that he can actually front a big offensive against Atlantis while also blowing them up to create global warming, which his end goal is to what? Like, I don't understand how that helps him get revenge on Aquaman.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is this? Why is he doing this?
Yeah.
What is the motivation? He could he got all the power. Just go attack Aquaman now. Why do you need this other guy?
Just kill the guy. Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Why do you need this possessed demon thing?
Well, he needed that power. He needed the
Well, you got
demon.
that, but like, why are you following what that guy wants? Just do what you want now.
I honestly don't know.
There's a big plot hole there.
I mean, it's not really a plot hole. It's just more that it's not an incoherent movie, I think, because it was chopped and changed a lot by the studio, which, you know, was bad. It's bad enough as it is, but like this, like if you think about it, this was supposed to come out ages ago, and it got reshot and chopped to pieces. And
was that because of Amber Heard?
Michael Keaton was going to be in it, then the Amber Heard thing, and I'm really surprised by how much she was in this movie.
Well, she wasn't in it that much.
Yeah, but I mean, like
she was in it at the beginning. And
I thought she was going to be in it for one scene, probably die, and then not be in it anymore.
Would have been a worse movie for it. At least that's something. I can't say that.
At least she didn't shit on anyone or anyone's bed.
Oh man, that would have made it more entertaining. Okay, we're back, baby.
Did you find this unintentionally funny?
Yes, dude. Jason Momoa was just like cracking jokes.
Isn't he just
He's like not even acting. He knew this was a fucking free pass.
I feel like
he's like,
yes,
he's like, I'm already paid. This movie's gonna suck. I'll never
who cares?
I'll never don the trident again.
Well,
I'll never do this.
Until he does.
I don't think so. I think, when he was filming, I think he thought this shit was toast. And he was just like, I'm at least having fun.
Yeah. I guess the
stakes
for him are so low in this.
Yeah, 100%.
He's just like, let's do some. It feels like someone gave him a script and he just kind of went, all right,
I'll
put it down and
I'll show up.
Yeah.
That's about all the commit to.
Let me check my improv, see how we're doing here.
This will be my improv, my fucking $40 million improv class. The craziest part is like because of that nonchalantness.
Yeah.
Like the whole time I'm like, he's like making all the wrong decisions. He's a good dad, but every time I'm like, you're actually not you shouldn't be the king. The brother's sounding more right
Definitely
about it. I'm like, you should pass it on. And then at the end, they're like, no, you're a good king. They kind of yada over it.
Yeah. Like, no, you're doing good here. You're like, is he? Or are you just saying that?
He just told you to have a beer and eat a cheeseburger. I mean, I guess that's like understand culture by experiencing culture.
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Sure. But there's a lot of gaps in what Momoa was doing.
Of course. I think in terms of like the world building of this.
And Defoe go ahead.
Yeah, but that's part of the world building. He died off screen.
Yeah, everything happened off screen.
Everything happened off screen.
So I'm like, Defoe obviously was just like, fuck this.
Like this barely was on screen. He had scheduling conflicts apparently.
That's such a lie.
Not much of this happened on screen. Like this looked like it was filmed in a cupboard.
Well, and then they kept
somebody's wardrobe.
They just kept having voiceovers for everything.
For everything.
There was so many voiceovers.
So much exposition. I was like, guys, but did you feel like not much of this was actually in the ocean? So much of it was like
the jungle.
There was a jungle bit. There was a sand bit, a desert bit, and there's
basically
a word there.
All the parts that weren't in the ocean, I liked. I can't get over their fucking hair. Like, what's going on? Why is it like look like it's hair gelled?
I tell you my favorite bit.
Water.
My actual favorite bit of world building in this was the fact that they had a literal 2004 Dr. Evil base. Like it was actually the base from Austin Powers, the Spy Who Shagged Me, whatever it's called. It was great. I was like, holy shit, he's in a volcano. It was great. If he'd have said, what is it? I just want sharks with laser beams on their head. It would have been the best film of all time.
I honestly just liked our old mate, the mad scientist, who just was out of place the whole time because he was just the tone was so off with all his moments.
We're talking Randall Park.
Yeah. I just like, he's the same dude every time, but like.
He just has that one shtick.
Yeah, but like, I don't mind it when we're in this movie because I'm like, it's at least familiar.
I think I'm going to talk more about performances in a minute, but the one thing I wanted to call out was like this. I said this before. And in terms of the world building, the world's already there, but like this film was like plagued with difficulties. So like there was supposed to be Michael Keaton in this, who was going to become like a Nick Fury for this universe. There were multiple cameos set up for him, including in Batgirl and the Flash. And then all of this just got like wiped off. And then Ben Affleck was going to be in this. And then the final thing comes out and it's like, what? I guess it's the end of the DCEU. Like nobody gives a shit. Like whatever. Just
was there even a credit scene?
There was one. Did you see the bit with old mate eating the cockroach?
Yeah, that was funny.
That was it.
Okay.
That was it. Performances that could have been interesting in this, like Michael Keaton, maybe Ben Affleck. Nah, just cut him out.
Yeah, I get it.
So
can't even believe they released it, but I guess there's idiots like me who saw it.
I feel like the first film was way too much about this special trident that Aquaman needed to win the world, and then he just didn't have it for 90% of this movie. And then at the end, when he got it back, he was like, oh yeah, this is how I win. It's like, just bring the thing with you. Just put it on your back. It's not slowing you down.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where is your trident?
Half the time he didn't have it.
He did half?
At least.
Like 90% of the movie.
Even when he was in water.
Yeah, that's true.
What's up with all the Guinness?
There was a lot of...
I actually quite like Guinness.
I love
not
Guinness.
From a can.
I love Guinness. Not from a can.
not for
Nah,
a
it's
cameo,
gotta
which
be
is what they
paused.
were doing, which is
But like,
shocking.
that's a great point. So there was a lot of scenes of Tamara Morrison and Jason Momoa broing down over a Guinness, talking about like how great it is to be like single dads and sorry you had to raise me on your own. And I'm like, dude, your wife is still alive in this movie.
Yeah, like-
why are you saying that?
Yeah.
What's happening here? Why doesn't Mira just come and help?
It's because they're like, oh wait, actually we forgot. Like we cut her from most scenes, but then we left this one in where she, maybe they were debating if she was still in the movie and they just let it slip.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Or maybe they had to cut bits out and they were like, how can we fill this gap?
Yeah.
Just say,
I know.
Single
Put
dad
a
thing.
fish playing drums this time. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The electric drums in the club.
Oh my God, there was another one.
Lots of drums by animals.
I tell you what I am here for in this.
Aquatic
the
animals.
fact that Jason Momoa is totally in his phase of like movie making where he's just like, I am not going to get jacked anymore for this film. I don't care.
He's not like not strong.
He's a buff guy.
I'm saying like right now, like in that film.
You would?
He does look like he's been drinking as much beer as he did in the movie.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like
he
it's
does.
like there's a little pudge.
He does.
Yeah.
Not like Patrick Wilson though, who is absolutely shred dead redemption in this film.
This guy, though, like, how is he a movie star, though?
I do not get Patrick Wilson.
He's like not good looking. He just looks like your average white dude who's like, he looks like the gym instructor, like the PT at your local gym that's like not the main brand gym.
Don't get him. I don't rate him in this. I don't rate him in general.
He in? All those horror movies.
The Conjuring movies.
Yeah.
He's in a bunch of stuff, but like, I find him a bit one-dimensional.
Of course. He's just a white guy. He's just like a boring white dude. Like, he's not a movie star. I don't know how he, like, anyway.
That is one bit of this movie I actually liked, and this is kind of going into maybe actiony bits. You talked about the bit where they're in the desert before.
Yeah.
So they did the Captain America thing with Patrick Wilson, whereby they CGI'd his head onto a smaller dude's body.
I did notice that.
Yeah,
Like,
I did too, but I thought it looked pretty good. And then
there was a couple times where I was like, oh, this is obviously CGI.
He got to the water.
Yeah.
I mean, all of it was fucking CGI.
Yeah.
He got to the water, and then he just went like, you know, like when you got those things as a kid and you put them in water and they expanded. And you're like, holy shit, it's huge.
It's like
that was Patrick Wilson in this.
Thing.
Yeah.
That was a cool scene.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
Apparently that's ripped from the comics. That's a thing that Aquaman used to have in the comics. Like if he was out of water for a certain amount of time, he would, I guess, shrink, become a shrinky dink man.
Become slender.
What do you think of the villain in this? Talk to me about the villain. So it's Black Manta. I thought coming from the first film, like his motivation's the same, but he kind of at least felt a bit fleshed out. Like we've talked about this in like
stop it.
Like the Marvels. We talked about it the other week.
Stop it. And all I did, that's what I'm saying. And I made this initial comment, and then you convinced me otherwise very quickly, and I'm about to do the same to you.
Go, hit me.
It was the exact same thing, except he was possessed, so he had even less agency.
Yeah.
He was a psychopath. He didn't have any motivation for anything. It didn't make any sense. The one motivation he did have, he didn't action as soon as he got power. He was just a dick. There was nothing to him.
He was just a dick.
He was just a dick. He's like, I'm gonna. In fact, Aquaman tried to save his life and just went, never. I die instead. Like, what?
We're skipping ahead here to spoilers. This is supposed to be non-spoiler territory.
Who cares, dude? This movie's, come on.
So bad.
Let's be real. There is nothing about this villain that is redeeming or interesting. Every time he was on screen, I was bored. This actor is better than this role.
Yeah, he is. Maybe I'm just like blinded by the fact that every time we get a villain at the moment in any superhero movie, it's like they have so little motivation and you're introduced to it for such a short amount of time. The Marvel's been a perfect example. It's just like overwhelming. I'm just like, why are you here? Whereas this one, I was like, oh, I recognize him. He's a person, but you make a very valid point. He is just a dick.
He's a dick, and it's the same thing as last time, but with less sense because it's been longer. And I don't know.
I really felt like this movie felt simultaneously way too long, but also super short at the same time. I don't know.
There just wasn't a lot to it.
The pacing was just like, because it's like now you do the sand bit and now you do a bit where you're, I don't know, in a jungle. It's like I expected The Rock to pop out wearing his one shirt and be in a jungle scene.
That was very jungly.
Very jungly,
very,
right?
Very The Rock.
Where is The Rock in all
I was
this?
expecting a cameo as soon as I saw the big Beatles. For sure.
The big Beatles, so the big brick
yeah.
just rocks up.
Exactly, the Pebs.
All right, then. Well, we're basically going to start talking about spoilers soon. So let's do any tones and themes.
There's definitely a tone of, I guess, redemption for
definitely a theme of
brother.
redemption. I've got one of those.
Yeah.
Blood is thicker than water. I've said it already. That's
I mean, it is also a
even
theme.
though I think they're only vaguely related to two brothers. Two brothers.
They are half related, right?
Half brothers.
Yeah,
I can't even remember why they
nothing like.
I couldn't even remember why they didn't like each other. My partner turned around to me in the cinema and was like, "Why don't they like each other if they're brothers?" And I was like, "Good question."
Stole the throne.
Yeah, I think it was something like Didn't Patrick Wilson, wasn't he scared that he would steal the throne? And then he came with some good ideas, and Patrick Wilson was like, holy shit, he's got some good ideas. Better put this guy down. And then
Don't recall.
he took the throne anyway.
Net stole the throne.
Net stole the throne.
Don't think he even wanted it. That's the funny part.
Do you have any 3 best and 3 worst? Give me 3 best.
3 best. You know, I love an electric drum set played
You
by
do.
a fish. So
You
that's
do love
high
that.
up there.
Especially if it's an octopus.
Yes. I love a cephalopod sidekick that can't talk.
Of course.
So that is number 2.
Good. Another octopus.
Yeah,
And we just doing all octopus things.
for 3, I love a fucking seahorse instead of like a Tesla. Like, you know, as a
Of
mode of
course.
transport,
Where is this going?
What is it even like? A glow in the dark seahorse.
It literally is, yeah.
Is my ideal situation. So those are my 3 best.
Do you really think that seahorse is making him faster? He's like the fastest thing in
Every
the
time he
water.
needs to go fast, he jumps off the seahorse. So
Yeah.
I really don't. It's an ornamental thing at best. It is.
It's completely unnecessary.
It's like the Swiss's, like it's like the Vatican's like little weapons. Like you're not like fooling anyone. Someone here has guns, but these guys are just ornaments. Yeah, it's ornaments.
I'm with that. My 3 best are, I got to admit, I did find the villain at least more compelling than some we've had recently.
Oh goodness.
Patrick Wilson, he got really buff for this. Good for you. And the other one was, I like Jason Momoa. Is that anything?
Yes, that's something in a film like this.
Okay, I like him.
But
That's it. That's all I got. And worst?
Because the first 3 were not my worst. That was just me being
You can just say them again.
facetious.
You can just say them again.
The worst would probably
all
be
of the octopuses.
Yeah. No, just the fact that like they're trying to convince me that William Dafoe had scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't do this movie.
Yeah, right.
Obviously.
He saw the script and
Yes.
went, nope.
100%. 2, the worst is by far the villain for me. He was just so boring and
Good.
one-dimensional.
Glad we agree on that.
Yeah, so boring and one-dimensional. And the 3rd worst would probably be the nonsensical plot
That we can't quite put our
that I
finger
can't
on.
tell you why anyone was motivated to do anything. I don't even...
Why were they trying to get their Oricolcum? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, why did...
Oricolcum.
What was the goal of the evil villain, the evil dead
He
people?
just wanted a Dr. Evil layer. I'm telling you.
Ooh.
Okay, my 3 worst very quickly are the fact it's just that one bit from Lord of the Rings, but just stretched out over the whole film. Not a great bit from Lord of the Rings, if I'm perfectly honest. Seemed like a bit of a backdoor way to kill a bunch of orcs.
Yeah.
The CGI was nauseating. I felt genuinely like I was going to be sick at times during this movie.
Very bright.
The humor, it just wasn't funny. I can't say one bit I wasn't laughing at something. I was laughing. Like, I can't say one bit I wasn't laughing with it. You know? Not one. Singularly. Not one.
I was trying to think of like one that maybe there's a couple I giggled because I was like, I guess that's like, it was more just like because Momoa was just like so degaff.
I sometimes think with these movies I have more fun talking to you about them than I do actually watching the movie.
That's not even a thing.
So
It's like obvious.
now, the best bit is the critical reception. Let's do this. Can you first and foremost guess for me the IMDb score out of 10?
I saw it. It's a 6.
It is a flat 6.
Yeah, I saw it, which is so gracious.
Like, who's liking this?
I don't know.
Who's pumping that up?
I don't know, man.
I'm intrigued.
Fool the
Maybe
7
just for
people in my
Jason
theater.
Momoa? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that could be it.
Could be.
Yeah,
What about Rotten Tomatoes out of 100?
that's got to be 32.
Ooh, it's 35. Not strong.
I actually thought it would be higher than that. I was just trying to like really fucking dig in, but that's crazy. It's actually that bad.
Pretty polarizing
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes. And finally, Letterboxd, our favorite. It's always 3.6 or whatever it is out of 5, and it's just idiots like us. There's no critics.
2-2.
Oh, it's 2-3.
Oh,
You were right there. You were right there. Love what you did there. And now finally, I'm rubbing my hands together. This is great. I mean, I've been excited for this. The only reason I wanted to do this fucking movie with you was for this right now, which is our famous rating system.
Yeah.
Which is this better or worse than the most average movie that we know, which is Aquaman of 2018?
It is 100% worse.
Yes!
For
we
sure.
agree.
It has to be.
Why though?
It has to.
Because it's all the same thing.
Because it's literally all the same things with less effort. With less, like all the same things with less effort and like a resignation that this is the last fart of the DCU.
I agree with that 100%. Jason Momoa seemingly just, like he probably read the lines once and said he's got a photographic
like
memory.
Literally, if that.
Just not even interested. It's just none of this is good. And they all clearly know like this is the end of it. So no one's asked. It's just not a good film.
No.
At all. So I guess there are a couple of spoilers to talk about. No one dies. which I was a bit ashamed by.
I for sure thought the dad was going to die.
Me too.
I thought that was the thing.
I feel like if this wasn't the end of the DCEU, like as in like it was carrying on,
There might have been a
I think they'd
death.
have killed him off.
I thought Amber Heard was dead too.
I knew
when it happened.
I knew in my head she was going to die, and then she just didn't.
Then she came back,
and then she was still there.
Feels like they like filmed 2 movies, one where she was dead, one where she wasn't.
I feel like they filmed a lot of stuff, and not a lot of it went into this.
Yeah.
And the other one is the villain who is King Codex, who we didn't really speak about because he is just the fucking guy from Lord of the Rings. He needed the blood of King Atlantis' bloodline to be free of the ice.
Which meant what?
And he tried to kill Aquababy, which, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
That's a no-no. No one kills babies on screens. And he fucked it up. And Aquaman killed him with his trident that he should have had all along.
Why is the baby so white?
Great question. Amir is very white. Very white.
Still.
You'd assume there'd be some... Yeah. I don't know.
Not usually something I would comment
Jason
on.
Momoa from? He's Hawaiian?
He's some kind of Pacific Islander.
Yeah. I mean, that's strong genes.
Yeah.
You'd assume there'd be a bit of something.
I think so.
The baby can talk to fish too, which...
They passed that on.
She certainly passed that on. Nothing else. By the looks of it, that's about as far as it went. And the final thing I had was they learn the value of brotherly love.
Yeah.
And then he fucks him off.
That actually was the better
people.
part of the movie, is like their dynamic.
Yeah,
by better, I mean like
the only bit that was worth watching.
Yeah, that was like kind of throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
If it was like that was actually what they were.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
That bit was
investigating.
Fine. Yeah. And they're very different people. So like one's like free loving, chill, and one's like, I should be the king. I was like,
tight butthole.
Yeah, super tight butthole. You're only getting one little pinky in there, if that. Anything spoilers for you? Do you care to?
I mean,
Black Manta doesn't die, or
no, he did die. I ruined that. He tries to Aquaman tries to save him, and
he takes the higher ground,
and he's so against. What is the motivation for killing yourself there? Your whole thing, the whole movie was, I'm going to kill Aquaman. So if you die, you can't kill Aquaman.
Why not do the classic thing of grabbing his hand and pulling him in with you?
That would have been at least consistent.
Saying that though, he is incredibly strong Aquaman and would have probably ripped his arm off.
Fair enough. But
that would have been fun
at least
to watch.
You tried.
More fun than this.
Instead, you're like, I die and will never fulfill my mission, even though I did all this stuff to fulfill it.
Bye.
My character is conflicting stuff. Did you see that he bounced off the wall though? I was like, ooh, they didn't want
my character's conflicting.
This makes no sense inside out.
So good.
Please don't think about it. Dunk, and then he
don't think about it too hard.
He did bounce off.
He
Usually
did.
they
he literally
let
bounced.
them fall into the abyss, but it was like a quick bounce death.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. True or false to finish up?
Yeah, why not?
Quickly then. True or false, dear? Despite working as a performer since the 1980s, this marks only the second time Nicole Kidman has ever made a movie sequel, with the first being Batman Forever in 1995. Is that true or is that false?
Fuck, if she did, I have no idea, so I'm going to say false, because if she did, this was a mistake to do it on this one.
So, you're right, it is false. The actual piece of trivia is that despite working as a performer from the 1980s, this marks Nicole Kidman's first ever movie sequel in which she appeared in the previous entry. The previous sequel she was in was Batman Forever, but she didn't actually appear in the prior movies. That's interesting. Imagine having never done a sequel and going
selecting
this one.
How much did she get paid?
She must have got paid.
You tell me the next one. I'm Googling how much everyone got paid on this movie. Momoa renegotiated his deal back in 2022 and managed to earn a whopping $15 million for Aquaman 2. Amber Heard, who plays Mera, also got double what she was paid for the first film, $2 million for Aquaman 2. Wow.
That's pretty good for doing nothing.
Yeah.
Does it say anything about...
No one else. But you got to imagine if they're making... they probably cashed in a half a day at the studio for hundreds of thousands of dollars. What I earned in a year or whatever they did in 5 minutes.
Oh, man. Imagine. I'm just seeing if I can quickly Google. Apparently, Nicole Kidman got paid $5 million.
What?
$5 million.
More than Amber Heard as well.
Unbelievable.
Wild.
I mean, she had more of a role. So apparently, Nicole Kidman got a bunch of the lines that were supposed to go to Willem Dafoe. So she was more of the mentor figure in this. But I didn't really see that. Anyway, true or false, DL? James Wan cited 1960s horror films as his influences for The Lost Kingdom. Is that true or is that balls.
That seems true.
It is true.
It seems like a bunch of the like
specifically Planet of the
Lovecraftian.
Vampires from 1965, a classic, some might say, and Ray Harryhausen. No, watched either of those two films?
No, but honestly, I didn't mind the design of the monsters in this.
Okay,
Didn't mind them.
So the first film had that bit where they went to the trench, where they had to go past all those creepy ass underwater monsters. That kind of horror element would have been great in this. Something like that.
Something less fantastical.
Yeah, a bit more wild. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, final then, DL. True or false? Black Manta is known for having killed the infant Aqua baby in the comics. Is that true or is that false?
True. He seems pretty committed. He killed himself to not be helped by Aquaman. So
It is true.
Yeah.
In the story arc, Death of a Prince, he comes close, but he does come close to murdering Aqua baby in this film. But they bottled it. The movie, they bottled it, right?
Aqua baby, dude.
I can't think of anything else to call it. What else are you going to call it?
It's so funny.
Arthur Curry Jr. What a boring name.
No, it is Aqua
I wonder if
baby.
it was ever not CGI, that baby. 'Cause it looked CGI the entire time to me.
As if, dude. That's definitely. Oh, surely they didn't have CGI on the baby
I thought it was CGI the whole time.
when he was in the crib.
It looked weird as hell. All right. Look, guys, thank you for sticking with it. God, if you've got this far. We really appreciate you for doing so. DL, do you want to wrap up the show?
I do. And to wrap up the show, we should thank Mr. Matthew Bliss. A big thank you for editing and mastering this week's episode. If you'd like to hire someone to edit your podcast, head to MatthewBliss.net and book a consultation today. If you want to hear his work, listen to From My Home to Yours, an expat and repat podcast, where Matt and his wife share their experiences and advice for those moving cross-country, cross-ponds.
Very
If you
wholesome
will.
materials.
Yes, the most wholesome.
The most
Wholesome and fulsome.
wholesome and wholesome.
Thank you, team. Give us 5 stars,
5 stars, baby.
please.
We're not going to beg. We're begging, all right. We will.
I guess I
We
did
will
beg.
take. We will give you cash to give us 5-star reviews.
We do.
No, we
called-
do.
that's
Who have we
bribery.
already?
That's bribery.
Who have we already paid?
I think we got a couple from my my work colleagues recently.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can do it right there in app, Spotify, Apple, whatever you use. We
It's not hard.
appreciate you doing it.
yeah, it's not hard.
Well,
Literally
thank-
takes a click. Just fucking do it. All right,
Thank you, team.
Yeah, thank you. And until next time, la-di-do, la-di-do, la-di-do.
Laters Gators.
Laters, Gators, and tell you.
I think you lost it there at the end.